Imposter syndrome. Wow. So, okay, have you ever been in a situation where you have been placed at a particular height by people or said to have known some certain things that obviously someone of that team and caliber should know of or be acquainted with? But my dear, within you, like you feel incompetent. You feel you're not as competent as you have been said to be. You're not that expert, excellent, or guru in that particular stuff to you. To you, you feel like you're still in the process, or if not at all, in the way to the level of high expectancy they expect from you. My dear lovelies, that is imposter syndrome. And today we're going to be talking about it. And of course, I am not alone. I won't be doing that alone. We have a guest in the house, our first guest for that matter. Please, can I get some drum rolls? He's Chibueze Samuel, a software engineer, a graphic designer. In fact, Chibueze is a whole lot of things. To crown it up, he's studying mechatronics engineering. I'm loyal, sir. So he's going to be discussing with us today all about imposter syndrome. But before that, guys, we'll embark on a short break. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. So welcome back, guys, of course, to the Things Cast with Neye, where we learn, unlearn, and relearn. So what is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills or talents or accomplishments. You can say it's like putting a question mark to your talent or skills, etc. It refers to an internal experience of believing that you're not as competent as others perceive you to be. It's usually linked to perfectionism. Yeah, that's very true. And the social context, imposter syndrome is real. It's very, very real. Psychologists often call it imposter phenomenon. And it has been evaluated that 70% of people experience these imposter feelings. Yes, it is a feeling, irrespective of your gender. Everybody's involved, including me. I'm very, very involved. So now, what category? Okay, over to Chibueze, our guest in the house. So what do you feel about imposter syndrome? What's your take on imposter syndrome?
Okay. Good day, everyone. I feel imposter syndrome is an internal experience of not being as competent as others perceive you to be. And it's really a norm amongst young people where, like I said, it's an internal experience where you feel you're not competent as how your peers take you to be, people around you, your family members, and the rest.
Thank you so much, Chibueze Samuel. So, we're moving over to what category of people undergo these imposter feelings. So, firstly, we have the perfectionists. See, don't worry, don't bother yourself. You may start saying or thinking, am I one of them or am I not? Don't worry, I'm going to give you tips, more like questions, so you can know if you're one or not. And subsequently, too, for the others, I'll be mentioning as well. So, perfectionists. These people are sets of people that sets extremely high expectations for themselves. And even if they meet 99% of their goals, they're still going to feel like failures. Any small mistake makes them question their competence. They are like control freaks. So, Chibueze, what do you feel about perfectionists? What's your take on perfectionists?
To me, I think I take myself as a perfectionist. First of all, that if I want to do something, I would like it to be 100% efficient. Because I feel, firstly, I used to feel that a lot of people used to see me like that, and it had a lot of influence on the way I do things. So it's a tendency to be 100% driven in whatever you do, and if you're doing something and it doesn't get to that peak, you're really going to feel bad, and you're going to be having self-doubts about yourself. So yeah, being a perfectionist can really lead to imposter syndrome, especially when you're starting out to learn something new and you're not getting the 100% efficiency you want because of your level of knowledge and all what.
Wow. But like I feel like almost everybody, or let's say like 70% of people, I feel like they are perfectionists. I just have that feeling. So just listen and know if this applies to you. So do you often have great difficulty delegating even when you're told to do so? Do you feel like your work must be 100% all the time amongst others? I mean, this category, like I feel like that sometimes, that I should be flawless. All my works too should be flawless. Like it should be perfect, but not like all the time. But after a while, I start coming to the realization that there can never be a perfect time, or your work will not always have to be 100% flawless. Like you can always have some hitches, you understand, in everything you do sometimes. So you just have to like go with the flow. My dear, the earlier you accept it, the better for all of us. So like number 2 category of people that experience imposter syndrome, we have the Superman, Superwoman. We call them the workaholics anyways. This set of people, they feel like I call them akrakacha. So like you can work harder amongst their peers or their colleagues. They always want to work harder amongst their peers or their colleagues. They often push themselves to like extreme heights, to work harder and harder, but it's just all fake. They just do that to cover up their insecurities and all those late hours they spend at work, even when other people are done for the day. No, don't quote me. I don't mean if you have pressure or a deadline, you understand, to meet up. Of course, you can always try to complete it so as not to be late, but it's going to be genuine, not trying to impress people. And if you check it, it's not going to be harmful to you. But these ones that are trying to impress will be harmful to them, health-wise and relationship, like emotional, mentally, everything-wise. But it's going to have bad effect on them. So Chibueze, like, what do you feel about workaholics? The Superman, the Superwoman, what's your take on that?
I feel, talking about perfectionists moving to workaholics, I feel they are really, really interrelated. When your tendency to work is driven by feelings or anxiety or self-doubt and thoughts such as, what if I'm not good enough? At that point, I can say a person has an imposter of a workaholic. A workaholic is somebody that always wants to work, that is mentally driven by the drive to work, and it can really be interrelated with a perfectionist in the sense that if any other person does something, or maybe if another person is involved in a job and the workaholic is there, the workaholic would always want to do it, like Chinese said in Perfectionist, when you have issues delegating tasks to people. I feel a workaholic too is somebody that would always want to do work by himself, and it's really a common imposter syndrome, as sufferers believe that they are less capable than they really are. As such, they are driven to overwork in the mistaken belief that they need to put in extra work hours to deliver for their boss or maybe their peers to accept their work to a certain standard. Even when there is an evidence of their success and skills in their work, they find it hard to internalize their achievements and therefore start every project with the feeling that they have to prove themselves over and over again.
Hope you're receiving this rema as I'm receiving it too. So like we're also going forward. Now, listen and know if this also applies to you. Do you also feel like you haven't truly earned your title despite all your achievements? So you always feel the pressure to work harder and longer than. My dear, I think your category. Look no further. You're in Superman, Superwoman category. Now, this next set of people are the natural genius. These ones, they believe that they have or they need to be natural genius. Okay, that means like the sharp brain people. So if they don't get something fast or quick enough, they feel ashamed or they feel not good enough. They are used to things, coming very fast and like learning quick for them. And if it's not so, then in their head, they are imposters. So, Chibueze, what is also your take on the natural genius? I'll hand over the mic to you.
I would like to talk about this one from a personal perspective. When I started learning software engineering or software development, as is widely known, I really had issues with this because I could really understand a lot of stuff. I could understand complex stuffs in mathematics, in science, and in engineering. But when I dived into the field of software, it was entirely new. When I didn't understand things, I really felt bad. I wasn't happy with myself because I was like, you understand maths now, you understand science, so why would software be like this? And at a point, it actually pushed me into depression because there were times when I finished studying something and going back to it is as if I'm coming into something entirely new. Because I always took myself as a genius that I should understand anything at first sight. Once I look at it, it shouldn't take me time. Maybe it was because of how I understood other things in lectures and the rest. But coming to software, it was entirely a different ball game. And how I was able to overcome it was by consistency of studying. So when you come into something new, you don't always expect to have a grasp of it in your first try. The way it works is you try again, and it begins to become part of you, and your understanding begins to grow wider in that particular field. Yeah.
Wow, plenty wisdom all the way. Wisdom, it is choking me. So listen and know if this also applies to you. So if you're used to excelling without much effort, I think you're in that category. If you have a track record of A's all the way, or you were told while you were growing up that you're the smart one, or do you dislike the idea of getting a mentor? Like the idea of getting a mentor, you detest it so much because you feel you can handle it on your own. So that's one, also a point too. Now, do you avoid challenges because it's somehow trying something that you're not great at? If you're in this category, you need to start seeing yourself as a work in progress. Keep building yourself, and even if it takes time for you to be that person you want to be, just pile down. This message is for me as well. Okay, so Chibueze, we have discussed about natural genius with Chibueze. So now we're going to the next category of people. We have the soloists. Don't feel like it's a solo in choir, please. These were special people that I can do it on my own people. I don't need any help. I mean, it's okay to be independent, but not when you are doing it or refusing assistance just to prove your worth. Are you serious right now? You know that they choke you, but still you're still bent on I must do it on my own. My dear, it's an imposter. Please change. So Chibueze, what's also your take too? Because once I talk, so I like to hear from him as well. So what's your take on soloists? What do you feel about the soloists?
Firstly, I would say imposter syndrome can be good and it can be bad. It all depends. At a point, being a soloist can be good. At a point too, it can also be bad. But it's okay to be independent, but not to the point that you can't ask for help. Where you always have a mentality of I can do this on my own. I don't need anyone's help. I don't need anyone to do this thing. more especially when you are dying in something and just a helping hand could bring you out, but you always insist on me and myself alone can handle this.
Thank you so much, Chibuzi, for that wonderful talk about the solace. So listen to know if this applies to you. Do you firmly believe that you have to achieve things on your own, or you frame requests in terms of requirements for the project rather than your needs as a person? My dear, you need a support system. So now the last category of people are the experts. These ones, they measure their competence based on what and how much they know or can do. They fear being exposed as inexperienced or unknowledgeable. Okay, so guys, let's hear Chibuzi's own thoughts and his take on experts. What do you feel about the expert Chibuzi, Samuel?
Okay, so like Chinenye said, experts are the ones that measure their competence based on what they know and how much they can do. And they fear being exposed as inexperienced or not knowledgeable. So me personally, I've writing software, there are times when I wrote particular codes that were not, it's not that they didn't work, but they were not agile enough, or they were not 100% efficient. And if somebody is coming, or maybe if a developer is coming towards me, I would just hide what I'm writing so that the person won't feel I'm not knowledgeable enough, or maybe I'm inexperienced in writing software. Yeah.
So as usual, now guys, so listen and know if this applies to you. Now, do you constantly shy away from applying to job postings unless you meet every single educational requirement? Or are you constantly seeking out trainings or certifications because you feel you need them, or you need those skills in order to succeed? All I have to say is slow down. And I think you should practice just-in-time learning. This means acquiring a skill when you need it. So if you have experienced it in one way or the other, this is an opportunity for you to kind of stop and start embracing your capabilities. I use kinda because some moments can arise when you have an imposter moment, but you don't let it turn to an imposter life. So we're going to move over to what causes imposter syndrome. What makes people have imposter syndrome? Now, researchers believe that it has roots from family upbringing, where we are always told who is intelligent and who is smart. That can spur up imposter syndrome, because he or she will always want to be that intelligent person. Okay, so Chibuzi is going to be talking about peer pressure or peer group, how peer group causes some persons to have imposter syndrome. So over to you, Chibuzi.
I think peer group affects a lot of people in different things, and it has a positive and a negative effect. And one of the negative effects of peer groups is imposter syndrome. So when you're around people with particular skill sets, I'll be using skill sets as an instance, and let's say you have something you're doing, or maybe you have something that interests you, but when you're around those people with those particular skill sets, and you see that they are paying. An example is in software development. Everybody wants to do software development because of people around them are doing software. A lot of people want to do graphics design because of people around them are doing graphic design. And when they get into it, they start to struggle because of it wasn't really from an inborn desire. It was as a result of what people around them engaged in. And even as they struggle, they try to hit the bar of excellence, but it doesn't work. And it can really cause an individual to go into depression, and that's where imposter syndrome comes in. You begin to feel you're not good enough. You begin to feel this is not my calling, when it was actually not your calling, but as a result of your peers, you got into something, that wasn't really your interest.
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful talk session. So, like, to also add to it, like, you can be in some groups where they're all made up of competent persons. I'm not saying, like, don't be in such groups, but when, like, where you are in such groups, there always exists imposter syndrome, like, in the individuals there or within them or collectively as a whole. Because, like, there's this strive for excellence, and obviously, you don't want to lag behind now or be said to be outdated or seen as a dummy. No matter what, like, you always want to prove your worth. And there's this thing that when you spend all your time trying to fit in, you forget who really or who truly you are, or worse, you feel wrong for being yourself. So secondly, we also have thoughts like, I must not fail. I think that's like one of the causes of imposter syndrome. Me too, I used to fear failure. Like, when we have thoughts like, I must not fail, so there'll be this pressure not to fail. Same goes for success. For with it also brings added pressure of responsibility and visibility. So Chibu is going to be talking about luck and a whole lot of, so let's also hand the mic over to him.
Okay, I would like to talk about failure before we talk about luck and belief systems and rewriting your mind programs / frameworks. So about failure, I feel failure is something that people should prepare for, and they shouldn't take failure as the all in all. Well, failure is a proof that you're making progress. Yes, it's a proof that you're making attempts. It's only people who try that can fail. And when you expect an all-win-win, you're not growing. You're not going to know where you're not good at before the time of opportunities. Okay, yeah. So, up next is about luck. I feel people always want to remove the part of hard work and solely focus on people are succeeding because of luck. People are succeeding because of grace, in quotes. So, and when you don't get those. So, lastly, when you adopt a belief that to be loved, you need to be perfect, or to do something significant / important, you need to be a perfectionist. It's really bad. So, enough of the plenty talk. How do we deal with imposter syndrome? So dealing with imposter syndrome, firstly, you need to be real. You need to find your true self. You need to find who you are, rather than judging yourself from the feeling you get from others. So that's the first step. And then secondly, the only time you can be real is when you put in work and you're consistent with it. So like you need to put in hard work into developing yourself to be who others thinks you are, and be consistent with it and keep on doing till you're good enough.
Like Chibuz has already talked about being real and consistency. I would like to chip in some things. Like you have to rewrite your mental programs, more like retrain your brain. Put it inside that you're on a journey to greatness, that growth is a process, and so it's okay not to know everything as you move. Like, so when you keep on moving, you keep finding out more. And then, we can also doubt ourselves, our abilities, our strength. It can be a normal reaction. But when words like I'm useless comes into play, you understand? Just reassure yourself that even if you feel useless at that point, that does not really mean you are useless. Like, these are also one of the ways how you can deal with imposter syndrome. Now, you can also take failure as a learning opportunity. Failures are only opportunities to do better. Find out the lesson and use them constructively in future. Like failures are also like feedbacks feedbacks for a better future. And it's saying, grow through what you go through. So it's also very, very important. In as much as we also have we feel very, very bad when we fail. I mean, it's not like really easy going through that moment or through that downtime. But I read a book and learned how to be joyful even in downtime. They said that when you remember that those struggles can produce character traits like maturity, wisdom, perseverance, and you choose to learn from it, then I bet you you'll be joyful even when you're failing. You won't really see the bad part, you see the future, that you can do better. That's it. Now, don't be so hard on yourself. Be kind. You are entitled to make small mistakes occasionally. So forgive yourself and then reward yourself when you do things right too. This body no be firewood though. So Chibeze is going to speak about taking support, finding your tribe, and adopting a growth mindset. So over to him.
Wow. I think everybody at some point needs help, regardless. So seek assistance and not be a soloist. You can always get a mentor to guide you. You're not a superwoman. Stop trying to be one. It's an imposter. Then I'll be talking about finding your tribe. Wow. I'll take it from an approach of learning together with people and accountability to persons. So find people you're easily acquainted with, not people who they are far ahead of you and it begins to put pressure on you. I'm not saying pressure is really bad, but when it begins to make you feel you're not good enough, or maybe the path to succeed is really, really high, or maybe when you're pressured to succeed amongst those persons. So find people you're excited about and you guys can learn together with. Then also you guys can be accountable to each other in learning and in growth. Then lastly, adopt a growth mindset. One thing I believe in so much is the chances are it will work. And like I say, don't take failure personal. Failure is a proof that you would grow. And anybody you're looking up to once started as a beginner. Anybody you're looking up to at some point was clueless. Anybody you're looking up to at some point didn't know anything. But like I said initially, with hard work and with consistency, you will be you. You will be who people think you are. And you will be successful. Thank you.
So it's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Chibueze Samuel. Thank you for gracing our podcast. Thank you for being our first guest on the podcast, The Things Cast with Me. We are so excited. We are so grateful. So I'm sure we have all learned a lot from this podcast. Feel free to give us feedback. Feel free to visit my Instagram page at Neyaloti and also Chibueze, unique_Chibueze. If for more information or for more questions, if you feel like asking questions and a whole lot of. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you. The Things Cast with Neye still remains. And then stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you.